Hello, I'm back. This video has a part one, which I stopped because the postman came. But now this is part two, and I'm gonna quickly tell you what's in part one. Sorry about that. So you are busy. You have a very long list of things to do in your head, and then your child start be misbehaving. We go with the example. You go somewhere, but the child doesn't want to put on the shoes, and it's become a fight. And what can you do to prevent this fight? We were talking about having a reward chart with stickers or candies uh, just to put on the shoes. But it doesn't work for a long time because it's new and shiny, then it works. But after that, it's just uh, chill. Sorry. I was outside in a cold without, so I probably gonna cough a lot now. The weather is bad. Anyway, let's start again. So, you have the fight with your children, and then the shoes doesn't gonna put on still because it's just fighting, and then the situation is just gonna escalate because you just want the shoes to be on, but the children just want your attention, so it doesn't gonna put it. It's gonna procrastinate, and then you're gonna bribe, and then you're gonna end up in the same place doing the same thing uh, the next day because the children learn. They're little, but they're clever, like sponges. We are very clever, and then they will just learn that if they don't do it, they get more of you, and they get a reward for not doing it. So this is not a good technique, in my opinion. Maybe it's work for you, and then you are lucky. But the people who are in a coaching group, it's 12 families now in this winter section, and out of these 12 families, all of them told me they have all children between age 1 and 5, and then some of them have more than one, and they say, okay, it's work for a while, but then it doesn't work after that. So it's just for a few weeks, and then it's more problems. Or you have to keep it in your head, and then you just don't have enough space in your head to keep it. Um, and then other example was you make a healthy dinner, and then your children refuse to eat it. Then you bribe them with, for example, dessert. I do that, but and it works. It works for me, and I have one more technique for that. So it's not just bribery. I allow the children to choose three things what they don't like. But it's not like you don't like it Monday and then you like it Friday. No, you don't like these three things, and then you don't like it in the whole. For example, you don't like it in the whole winter. You don't like it in the whole spring. You don't like it in the whole summer because there are different foods in different seasons. This is why we do it like this, uh, and it works because they always don't like the same thing. Like my daughter doesn't like peas. She doesn't like it for like 1.5 years, and then magically she started to like it because it was fresh peas. So now she likes the peas in spring, but doesn't like them in any other time. So it's fine. Um, and then some people start cooking them something new instead of just asking a question, why don't you eat it? So then the dinner will be late because you put again, and then you spend more time in the kitchen, and then the bedtime will be late, and then it's more cooking or more cleaning and more cooking and more things what you're not gonna get done. So your head more full, and it's more frustration. Uh, Another thing which is frequent in here, in my house and in the house in the coaching people uh, families. Uh, my children, for example, some toys they only have one, like this. We only have one of these. It's like a hula hoop. You put it around, but it's not my size. It's the children's size, and the hula hoop with it. You never want to use it together, but only when one of them using it, and they start fighting over it. Um, and then they never break it, but some things they did break like this. And then I promised them at if they stop screaming, then we go to another thing, and then we buy both the same, and then it won't be fighting, and then it's more in my head. Instead, when I buy something, I buy my red, and I buy one blue for the two preschoolers. The blue one goes for the girl because her colors are blue and yellow, and we choose it in advance. Everything of hers is blue and yellow, and the boy is green and red. Uh, I don't know why they choose these colors. They choose it. They are happy with it. Okay, the 1 year old doesn't really had the choice, uh, but um, that's how it goes now. And then we will evaluate it actually when they will be bigger, and they know this. This is work like this. But there is a blue chair. They fight over it sometimes, but no, who is whose, and it's not. It's just time saving to have, and that these toys are not the same, so they don't have the same cars. For example, one blue car and one red car. There is a blue car and there is a red car. They're different. The red cars usually fire trucks, and the blue cars usually police cars, and then they play with it, and then they want to play with the other people with toy, and then they ask the other people. It took me like 3 months to teach them, but it's worth it. It saves so much time, so much trouble. um, I teach them if you want someone else's something, you just ask, would you like to change it for something, and then you give something, and then they change the cards and they play it again. um, so that works, and that's what we're learning now in the coaching session. There are some exercises we do together in our children, and it's just fun. The children also like it to see other children in the uh, screen, and they just hi. So it's funny. No, anyway, um, but you don't want to put more things on your to-do list. Or my big daughter, uh, she's big, like 10 years old, but that's a good example. I just giving you examples from my life. She doesn't like to wash her hair or comb her hair, because she have this very very curly hair, and it's just a lot of time. So she always procrastinate, and then we bribe her, uh, and then it gets done, but a little bedtime, and then uh, she have less time to sleep, and then it's just become a mess. So it's not a good point to drive them. It's much better when we do, okay, let's wash hair together, and then we wash it together, and then we have a fun chatting time, and then it just gets done, and my hair gets done. Actually, it's much easier to wash my hair because it's short. She have this very very big curly hair, but I help her, and it's make it quicker. So it's just spending time without. Oh, and now this is supposed to be the end. Um, that our more things on our plate, there are more chaos. Uh, and then it's gonna make more mess and more agitated children, or maybe that's not the right word, more tantrums, because the children never do simply what they want, what we want them to do. They always go around in circles. uh, so we want everything to run smoother, um, and instead of doing this shouting and putting more things in our to-do list, which we should do instead of the children, and then we give stickers, and then um, but actually there are chords, like um, putting the shoes back to the garden or shoe rack. um, you get the children get a sticker. So why do you give more tasks for yourself when it's their job, and they will just learn it, and then they just do it, and it's become automatic, it's become a habit, and then it's not doesn't have to be punished. They have to be good when they are adults. And when they are adults, they have to be able to put the things away from themselves. Uh, and we doesn't have to add more to the chaos. That's what we were talking about in the coaching session. And a lot of people just had this aha moment, um, because when we do less, there is more gets done, because we are not the only people in the house. The children are there, and the children are people, and we can have fun with things what we doesn't think it's fun. Um, so not bribing, we don't. We just have joy, and it's everything gonna be smoother. It's difficult to explain because it is normal for me. It's a normal mindset I came to, and when I'm teaching this, I usually not just tell. I tell them some exercise to try. Um, it's part of the coaching package and out of the course. Um, I just tell them some exercise to try, and they tell me, "Oh, now less chaos, less to do. They earlier go to bed. What happened?" And then I say, "See, the children are wired to bond with us when they are born." And we talking about mostly children first 6 years. Um, they connect with us, and they want to do the same as with us. Um, and they trust and they love us, and there is no conditions. But if we teach them there is conditions, like I only give you a hug if you put your shoes away. No, this doesn't gonna work. Because they always want to be around us. So we have a bond or attachment. Depends how you want to call it. This is what the scientists say, attachment. Because we have to relate to our children, and children relates to us. And if it's healthy, uh, we are present in the children's lives, then there is not going to be a problem, because the children will going to say, "Oh, I want to put on my shoes, but I don't know how to tie it. Can you tie it for me?" And then it's not the argument of half an hour of wasting time. But put on your shoes. No, I don't put on your shoes. No, put, not put, and arguing and everything and stress. No, it's just, I will put on my shoes, but can you tie it for me? And the children just tell you. Um, and even my 1 year old, uh, he, he doesn't want to do something. Sometimes he cries because he just don't know what to say. And then a 3 year old goes there and then tell them, "What is your problem?" asking. And then the 1 year old can, it doesn't say it. It's just like, and this point to the things, what's the problem with, and then we are guessing, because 1 year old don't speak, but we are guessing at what the problem could be, because we are knowing him, and then the problem solved and there is no crying. So they not get angry, they not rebellious, they not cranky. I'm not cranky. I'm just having this fun time trying to figure out. It's like my daughter call it the guessing game. Let's play guessing game. It's like talking with her brother. It's a guessing game because he cannot talk. Anyway, um, um, and then it's built also after. Oh, I have some notes in here, but not to forget, because sometimes I start talking and then I go in total different direction. But I made notes what I wanted to include, what we did in a coaching session, just to keep you updated. Um, so it's also good. Okay, another example. Children have to put their toys away in the evening. Some people play songs, and that works. Play song like "Goodbye Toys," and but the children sometimes just refuse it, and you making it done uh, by you, or you start giving them some treats, or they start whining because they just want your attention, or they tell something like brush your teeth and doesn't brush the teeth. So they just the misbehavior is indicator they want your attention, because the children is doesn't motivate it, uh, that should do what you want them. It doesn't motivate it to be near around you, because you don't motivate it to be near around them. You might be think you are, but sitting down 10 minutes and playing them, just if you save you 10 hours, because you not fight, you not um so the thing, um you get an attachment, you get to know your children, and then you know how to talk to them, and a life is just get easier. It's like when you get to know a friend. Okay, you are not really, you are friends but not really fans. um it's like a bond. You're building a bond, and you give them attention, they give you attention, so they will help you put the uh, toys away, for example, because they're not misbehaving because they want to misbehave. They misbehave because they see this at that's the normal to misbehave, or they just want your attention, and then you give them more attention if they misbehave. So this, but when you have the attachment and it's a good bond, then the children is safe and will help you and tell if there is a problem. It might be not the right problem what they tell us. For example, my daughter always comes to me. I'm cold. Help me. I'm cold, and she just wanna hug. But I know her, and I know what that means. She wants a hug, and then she gets a hug and she goes away. But I seen that happen with my mother. Um, she goes to my mother and say, "I'm cold," and my mother puts a pullover on her. But it's like a struggle, a half hour crying, screaming struggle, when she just wanted to have a hug. So that the children have their own language. Um, and then if we start building this bond when we are young, or they are young, this goes into their teenage years, and then they will gonna talk to you about things what you wish to know. You just have to start it when the children are in preschool, and then they're gonna trust you with their things. So instead of focusing on your to-do list, put your children on the to-do list, and then it's less stress. For example, you play 10 minutes every day with them, and then you just nurture them, and then they will feel important, and then you, if you ask them something, they will think it's important because they are important, you are important, so the thing what you asked to put on the shoes, it's gonna be important. If they cannot do it, they will say, sorry, I cannot do it, can you help me, instead of the fight. And then you will just save time, and you're gonna have more than 10 minutes, and then it will be more cooperation, and there will be joy, because that's our goal. And there will not be yelling and brace and bargains. It's just lots of quality time. That one we also talk about the make time to game time challenge. what little task you can do. It's not, it shouldn't be a task, but first it's gonna feel like a task because you are in a higher level than a 1 to 5 year old, so it's gonna feel you boring to play, like pull around the same train all the time, hundreds of times. But that's how they learn, with repetition. Build the blocks, they destroy it. You build the blocks, they destroy it 100 times. That's how they learn. So a lot of repetition, it's can feel overwhelming. But after sometimes, like when the child is around 3, 4, they start talking to you, and then it's gonna be interesting, and they're gonna ask you questions, and then they're gonna tell everyone us how much you know, and things like that. My daughter always said I shouldn't say things like that because we don't know what's the death, what they mean. I mean, this is also coming from having a conversation, um, and they see you as a safe place. But it's still, sometimes you're gonna have complications, and sometimes you're just gonna be tired, but this all you can prevent it. Okay, I think I said enough things for the day. uh, and if you have any questions, just write it to me, uh, and I will make more of this because it was fun talking uh, about it. See you.